Everyone, it's been a while since we had an IG live, mainly because I was traveling, so happy to be back. Thank you so much for joining us. Millions of people use personal care and beauty products help hide blemishes to reduce sign of aging. Unfortunately, many of these products contain toxic chemicals. Some of these chemicals can cause long-term health effects, which would essentially counteract their benefits or some of their purposes, which is to keep you looking young. Thankfully, there are some things you can do naturally to help prevent aging and maintain that vibrant glow. That's why we're really glad to be joined today by Dawn Conder, the face naturalist. Dawn is a holistic esthetician. During this live, we're going to discuss tips for healthy skincare as we age, including proper pimple care, the do's and don'ts for exfoliation, face yoga, and much more. So,
Thank you so much for taking the time and join us.
Oh my goodness, so excited to be here. Really, I absolutely love what the Million Marker is doing, your commitment to educating on how to live a less toxic lifestyle. I really am thrilled to be here.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like how you became interested in skincare.
Yeah. So very quickly, again, my name is Dawn Conder, and I am the face naturalist, and I am a licensed esthetician. I live in Naples, Florida. I'm also a mom and a wife, and I am also a certified face yoga and gua sha instructor. So honestly, my love for skincare kind of really started when I was very young. I was fascinated with all the fancy, beautiful skincare bottles that my mom had on her bathroom counter. And I loved watching her just kind of artfully put on makeup. But the truth is, I've always had very sensitive, rosacea prone skin. So finding products that worked for my skin was always so difficult and challenging. So while I loved skincare, for the longest time, I did not love my own skin. And it wasn't until I was in my 40s that my daughter had an almost anaphylactic reaction to drugstore makeup. And we had to go through the trial and error of finding products that worked for her, that were less harsh and didn't have toxic ingredients for her. And in that process, as we were switching over as a family, magically, my own skin transformed. And for the first time, I wasn't dealing with rosacea. And it was
Yeah.
the first time that I really connected the dots on the chemicals that are in the products that we put on our body, how they affect our skin and also our overall health.
Wow, that's really well said. What is the holistic esthetician like, and how can they help somebody with their, skin goals?
Yeah. So um, as a holistic esthetician, I use non-invasive techniques. I am using non-toxic products and encouraging just lifestyle balance. It's more of a therapeutic approach as opposed to a treatment. It goes beyond just treating the outer surface of the skin. So in the therapy room, this might encompass health conscious ingredient products, it using ancient traditions and techniques like gua sha and face yoga, cupping. Also adding aromatherapy to help, your client to relax and to just really enjoy the overall experience. Of course, I am trying to heal the skin, but I'm also wanting the client to leave with their skin looking glowing on the outside, but to also feel healthier on the inside. Similarly to this, when I am doing my gua sha and face yoga sessions, I really approach it in the same way where I'm encouraging to start by looking from within and through positive mindset and also with a healthy lifestyle.
That's why it's holistic. I feel like it's such a treat. Almost hearing about it,
Oh,
it's like going through the
good.
process is like a treat.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
You're also the face naturalist. So in your own words, what does face naturalist mean to you?
Okay. So the face naturalist started off really describing my approach to skincare. But I think over the years, it has really morphed into so much more than that for me.
Mhm.
So I have found that even women who come to me wanting a holistic approach to skincare are still comparing themselves to the filters that we see on social media, to the how do I say, celebrities who have undergone multiple surgeries. And it's really an unrealistic of what true aging is. So it has opened the conversation for me on not only social media, but with my clients in person, what natural beauty is and what healthy aging looks like. It's really an opportunity to acknowledge that self love and healthy mindset are sexy and beautiful as well.
Absolutely. You have like a lot of interesting content. So we're gonna get kind of like a jumping around for like some quick questions and tips
Sure.
maintaining a youthful face. So first, like, what's your opinion on exfoliation? I could never like say that somewhere. Can you exfoliate too much?
Ah, okay. So I know I talk a lot on my Instagram about exfoliation. I think that is because in esthetician school, it is drilled into our heads that exfoliation is the most important step in a facial. And this is because it does so much for the skin. Exfoliating helps to remove dry, skin, dead skin. It's allowing better product absorption. It's going to unclog the pores, minimize the pores, and it's going to help to stimulate healthy cellular turnover. But I do think that it is very common for people to over exfoliate, especially people with acne.
Mm.
And I think you do have to be very careful with over exfoliating too much, because when you do this, you can irritate the skin and you can compromise the skin barrier. On the flip side, I also think there are people who don't exfoliate enough. And when you do that, then you might see where your skin is dry, your skin looks dull. So it really is kind of a happy medium. And what I always like to encourage is to practice intuitive skincare. And that means that you're really paying attention to how your skin looks and feels today. Is it feeling dry? Is it feeling oily? Is it looking, flaky? Are you having skin reactivity? And when you pay attention to that and use your skin as the guide, then you can really kind of find the right product for your skin type, follow the instructions, of course, use it as a guide, but then adapt according to what your skin needs on any given day. So that's always my recommendation. And if you're struggling, that's where an esthetician can be really helpful to kind of help guide you as to what your skin does need.
Mhm. What role can our cell phone play in poor skin appearance?
Okay. So I know that we're all kind of attached to our cell phones.
Totally.
My teens, I think they think the world revolves around their cell phones. But there is a definite downside to using your cell phone and the appearance of your skin. So let's kind of talk about the obvious. And the first is that every tap, every swipe, every time we are touching the phone, we are transferring the germs from our hands to our phones. And let's be honest, how many of us are really cleansing or cleaning and sanitizing our phones on a daily basis like we should. Yeah, so like there's some food for thought right there. But thing is, we take the phone, and when we're making phone calls, there's that transfer of the, you know, phone germs to the skin. So you're really putting yourself open to germs and bacteria that might cause breakouts. So I think that's kind of an obvious one. Make sure you're sanitizing your phone, keeping your hands clean, kind of like what we tell our kids, right? That, hand to face, same thing with your phone. But another problem is repeatedly, as we're looking down all day at our devices, that creates what dermatologists and even chiropractors are calling text neck. So, number one, it's a posture thing. So, we're looking down. And when you're doing that, you can create, tension and pain in the back of the neck. But for the front of the neck, that repeated creasing is creating those horizontal lines. So you want to be cognizant of that and try and hold your phone. You're trying to, there we go, kind of more at eye level. And then maybe do some exercises that will help to kind of counteract that. And one exercise that I really love is start off kind of good posture, look forward, then look right over your shoulder and tilt your hip, tilt your head back. And you'll feel that nice stretch right here on that skin muscle in the front. It feels really good and relaxing. Hold it for a few seconds and then repeat on the The last thing about our phones that I just wanted to touch on really quickly is that there is new emerging science that the blue light that's emitted from our phone leads to hyperpigmentation, to those lines and wrinkles, and can actually accelerate the aging process. So we want to be cognizant of that. And one thing you can do to protect yourself from those rays, other than limiting that device time, is to use a mineral sunscreen. So the mineral or physical sunscreen is going to actually create that physical barrier to protect our skin from the blue lights.
That's very good to know. There are a lot of people dealing with pimples. So, what are some do's and don'ts for dealing with a pimple?
Okay. All right. So I know I hear it all the time. People are obsessed with the pimple popper. I don't know. People seem oddly satisfied, with popping pimples. But as an esthetician, I have to say that when you are popping those pimples, you could actually be pushing that bacteria actually deeper down into the skin. It can lead to cystic acne, which then can lead to scarring and actually making the pimple, like in the meantime, it can make the pimple look redder and bigger than it actually is. So instead, my recommendation is to start with prevention. Keep your face clean, use products that are meant to treat acne, like your salicylic acids, also to spot treat. And a real kind of like simple tip is to use an ice cube on the pimple to kind of help to minimize the redness. But if you find your pimples, if it's getting worse, if it's chronic, really inflamed, then that's a good chance to seek out the help of a professional. Now, if you go to an esthetician is going to treat with things like skincare products. They're going to use like an LED light device or even high frequency. If you go to a dermatologist, then the dermatologist is probably going to prescribe a topical treatment or an oral treatment. So I just always suggest whichever route you decide to go, to research and to know what will be involved in that, whether it's chemicals through topical, prescription products or potential side effects of oral treatments. Just know going in what that might mean for you so that you're aware.
That makes a lot of sense. You also brought up some like really great points about missing leftover makeup while washing your face and how that can dull your complexion. So, what are some tips for removing makeup?
Sure. All right. So when we're washing our face, what we're attempting to do is to get rid of all that makeup, that dirt, environmental debris, dead skin cells, and excess oils from the surface of the skin. This is going to help breakouts. It's also by having a clean face, it's going to allow your products to absorb and penetrate the skin and do what they're supposed to do. And it's also going to help your makeup to apply more smoothly. So when you aren't thoroughly cleansing your face, then you're not allowing all those things that I just mentioned to happen. So I think I can remember years ago going to the dermatologist and she had the most beautiful skin. I mean, like that peaches and cream, perfect skin. And I remember asking her, okay, I have to know, like, what's your secret? And I was expecting her to tell me like this big, expensive fancy product or this, like she does some expensive, treatment. And her answer was, I make sure to wash my face and get all the makeup off. And I was like, that's it. So my tips in cleansing your face to make sure you're getting all that makeup off. First of all, if you're not wearing makeup, and you're not wearing, sunscreen, then just a single wash your face where you're using a cleanser that's appropriate for your skin. And doing a 60-second cleanse is probably going to be good enough. But if you are wearing makeup, foundation, eye makeup especially, and sunscreen, then I recommend doing a double cleanse. And a double cleanse is obviously, you wash once. And I don't know if you ever notice when you've washed your face that one time and you still kind of have a little bit of the raccoon eyes. Well, that's a good indication that you need to go in for another cleanse. And that's kind of when we say double cleanse, that's that second cleanse to make sure that you are getting all of your makeup, all that residue, debris, excess oil off. Now, I'm not talking about like deep scrubbing. I'm talking about, nice, gentle circles, where you're gently working the soap into your skin and then rinsing. Your skin should not feel dry or tight. It should just feel clean.
Makes sense. You are a big fan or a big sunscreen advocate. What are your tips for daily sunscreen protection?
Sure. Yeah, I am a really big advocate for sunscreen. I grew up in the Bahamas.
Oh,
Back back during a time when people were using baby oil. I think back then the SPF was like 2. And unfortunately, as in my 40s, I ended up having 2 Mohs surgeries to remove basal, cell skin cancer. And while it's curable, it was taken care of. It's not a fun process. So my number one product that I recommend for anti-aging is always going to be sunscreen. Not only are you going to prevent, skin cancers, but according to the Skin Cancer Foundation, 90% of skin aging is caused by the sun. So it's kind of this, dual purpose of preventing, skin cancers, but also really helping that aging process. I like to recommend a mineral or a physical sunscreen versus chemical, because the chemical sunscreens have been proven over the last few years to have endocrine disruptors in them, which is not good for our health. It's also not good for, reefs or aquatic life out in the ocean. So, and a good physical or mineral sunscreen can protect you if you find one that's a broad spectrum.
That makes sense. Tell us about face yoga. Like, how
Okay.
can it improve your, skin's appearance?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now we're talking like my love language. uh, so face yoga is a natural, non-invasive way of looking and feeling younger. It's rooted in ancient Indian and Asian traditions. It has been around for centuries, but there's modern science to prove its positive effects for anti-aging. As a matter of fact, there is science and studies out of Northwestern University School of Medicine proving, its positive anti-aging effects. But also the Bell's Palsy and Stroke Association uses face yoga to help patients regain that muscle strength and symmetry. So there's real world science behind this, ancient practice. I use a unique sequence that includes acupressure and massage and facial exercise that increases the circulation, that helps to increase collagen, and also helps increase the lymphatic flow, which will help to remove toxins. So it's great for your face, it's great for that glow, but it's also good for overall health. And I just love it for maintaining that youthful appearance.
So, what are some like things we can do daily to help with maintaining this youthful appearance?
Sure, sure. So I believe our skin's a really good indicator of what's going on the inside. Having a healthy lifestyle is key. Getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, making sure you're drinking half your body weight in ounces of water, staying active, eating a whole foods based diet, and practicing self care. I think self care is very important. A lot of us lead stressful lives, and that self-care is just a really important way to kind of relax and to just give ourselves a moment of you time. So, and the last thing that I really think is key is that positive mindset and laughing and smiling often with family, friends, and the people in your community.
Wow, love it. It's almost the exact same tip. Everyone should just live their life, right? Like,
Right, right, exactly.
love it. How can someone work with you?
Yeah. So if you live locally in Southwest Florida, I would love to pamper you with, some holistic facial treatments. So you can just go ahead and, reach out to me. I'm at the Face Naturalists on Instagram. You can just message me. If you're anybody who might be interested in a gua sha or face yoga session with me, I do that locally, but through the magic of Zoom, we can also do it no matter where you live. So if you're interested in a session that, comes with a customized routine just for you, and then a beginning to end instruction Zoom session, then you can also reach out to me at the Face Naturalists and just message me. I'd love to set that up as well.
You're advocate for Hue and Grace. So tell us about them. Like, why do you like their product?
Yeah, yeah. So of course, for those people who aren't familiar with Hue and Grace is a small, innovative direct sales company that is really committed to finding and creating high performing products that are hormone free, um, that use hormone free ingredients. And that actually is really important to me personally. I have come from a family with a history of cancer. I've told you about, my daughter's almost anaphylactic reaction. I have sensitive rosacea prone skin. So it's really important to me because number one, I try and test and use all the products that I, um, you know, used in my facials and also recommend to my clients. So if I won't use a product on me, I'm not going to recommend those products to my clients. And I was just so impressed with the integrity of the company in their commitment to using safe ingredients, but with products that work. And my favorite products, of course, are the gua sha and also the face serums, the day and night face serum oils. They are my go-to products that I use daily on myself and that I use in the treatment room and for gua sha and for face yoga. So that's those are my like ride or die products from Hue and Grace.
I love it. The night serum is still my favorite.
Oh my goodness, it smells amazing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much for all these great tips. And thank you so much for taking the time and joining us
Oh,
today.
it was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And once again, I admire, what Million Marker, what you're doing, Jenna. I think that you guys just are such an invaluable resource for anyone who wants to learn how to live a less toxic life, but more importantly, a healthier life.
Our goal is totally aligned because we need advocates like you, and also helping spread the message, and also companies like Hugh and Grace making good products so that we can actually like do this together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thanks, Jenna. I loved coming on with you today.
Thank you. See you next time.
All right. Sounds
Bye.
good.
And
Bye.